Welcome to our very first episode of the Infinite Gold Podcast, Growth and Greatness, Life Legacy, and Laughs with the Goldners. Today, we're going to kick it off with why we got started, talk about what we do and what inspired us. Babe, take it away.
Yeah, so I would say why we got started mainly has to do with just where our passion is. Our passion is for helping people. I know a deep passion of yours is to help kids grow up to be strong individuals, strong adults. But to get there and to get to the kids, you kind of got to go through the adults, kind of got to go through the parents. So helping out adults, helping out the parents, just getting a stronger mindset. A lot of people know the health industry vitality is at an all-time low in the States right now. So just being able to really help people become healthier. Diabetes is rampant in my family. It's rampant in yours. So just being able to help people live healthier lifestyles and then also pass that on to the kids. Because that's the main issue, I think, is parents and adults eating unhealthy. So then the kids obviously eat unhealthy and it's just a spiral effect from there.
Right. Well, our kids emulate what the parents do.
Mm-hmm.
So they, just when you think that they're not watching, they're watching. They see what you're eating and they see what you're putting into your body. They see if you're active or not, if you're a couch potato or if you're out working out and you're getting them involved with you and participating in outdoor activities together, those kinds of things. And I think just by doing all of that, you're getting to set the tone for them, to set an example, and you're starting at a really young age, starting from day one with them. And it kind of just helps start teaching them to build better habits so that way they can live to their fullest potential. I think, I'll kind of tag on to, at least on my side, why I was really interested in getting started with this is, realizing the passion that I had for helping people and not sure in the beginning of what that vehicle looked like until I started talking with our mentors and I guess communicating with other individuals in the personal growth department and realizing where I was needed and necessary. And this is where it landed me. And I'm so excited to do it. I think there's a lot of people out there that don't realize how much help is out there, how many resources are out there that's free, for one, that you can...
podcast.
Exactly.
Podcast is going to be 100% free.
Exactly. So share it. If you like what you're hearing from us, share it with somebody, that will resonate or can, have some sort of, feeling of in touch with. But yeah, there's so many resources out there and a lot of people don't know about it. And we kind of want to make it more known, put it out there to people that, feel helpless or they feel lost. And when you're in that position, it all starts in the personal department. When you get everything in line in your personal area, that's your mindset. That's how you communicate with others. That's how you connect and understand your feelings and your emotions. It's all of that. Like once you understand yourself and you understand all of those things in the personal department, it's going to fall in line with those other pillars of life, such as your business, your vitality, and your community.
I think that's the big one for us, is the community side of things.
Yeah.
Is we didn't realize like how much community could either hold you back or exponentially push you in the direction and the goals and dreams that you have. Because we've always talked about, starting this podcast and starting like a YouTube channel and talking about personal, talking about business, the businesses that we have in the real estate and what have you. And then vitality and all the different workouts that we can provide to people and stuff like that. But we never really tapped onto the community until I would say this past year. With the various communities that we are part of and one of the main ones that we are with now. But being able to utilize the community to help you it's tremendous. It's night and day difference.
It's your jet power.
There you go. Exactly.
It's your jet power.
Yeah.
I guess finding the right community that fits you, that's aligned with you, aligned with your values, your goals, and basically they they're like-minded individuals.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for.
Without a doubt.
The like-minded individuals. So, may be hard. Like if you're just getting started in the personal growth department, you might find that maybe some of your old friends aren't in that space. Maybe they're comfortable where they're at not because that's where they actually want to be, but that's because of maybe how they were raised. And I think we don't have to follow. I know that we don't have to follow in that, with that trend of how we were raised. And there's nothing wrong with how we were raised. We all seem to have turned out fine. At least Anthony and I think so. We've had really hardworking parents, and we're not knocking them by no means. We love our parents so much. They've been our biggest supporters, and they worked really hard to raise us up and raise us up right. As we've gotten older, we've realized that we can dream a whole lot bigger, and we want to be able to create generational wealth and a legacy that we can pass down to our kids and our kids' kids and so on. And starting from a really young age and being able to give that influence.
Well, there's levels to it. There's levels to the game. There are some people they're happy at where they're at. And again, there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
That's a certain level. And then there's a level above that. And then there's a level above that. And you can just look at people in the world, and there's exponential levels above where we are now and where people are. But if you're looking to get to that next level, that's where you need the community. That's where you need the mindset. You need the health, and you got to get yourself through those levels. And that's kind of where our coaching also comes into play, where we utilize the model, and that model, the infinity model, correlates those 4 pillars that we're talking about right now. And you need those 4 pillars, and you got to utilize those 4 pillars to get to those next levels that you want.
Exactly. No, I hear you on that. I think too is it's for people like you and me, and even the people that we were yesterday. Mm-hmm. People with ambitions, people with dreams, some where they think that they're dreaming too big and, oh, it's not possible. That's not for me. Yep. You don't know until you try. You can't say that you failed at something unless you tried.
But also, we've talked about, just because it didn't work out doesn't mean you're a failure.
Yeah.
It just means we've learned more ways of not doing it.
Exactly. Well, and then we've also talked about how failure and falling on your face is part of the process. And it's part of the journey to your success and to you achieving those goals that you're after.
We'll talk about that with the business idea, or the business that you had prior to what we're doing now.
So,
since we're on that topic,
right? Yeah. Okay. So, honestly, if you asked me 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that I would be. If I would be starting a business with my husband.
Or doing a podcast.
Or doing a podcast, let alone doing a podcast, I'd have told you were batshit crazy, because I wasn't in the mindset of going in that direction, of shifting my mindset and thinking that I was capable of doing more than, what I was before, and settling. And you know what? I think everybody goes through a phase of trying to figure out what it is that they're trying to get into, like, coming out of high school, you're okay, going into college, I need to figure out what I'm going to do with my life right here, right now. And I think that was like such a heavy weight on our shoulders, graduating from high school, thinking that we needed to know everything, and we needed to know what we were going to do with our lives, how we were going to make money, how we were going to survive, let alone in the up and down economy that we've, gone through over the years. I think that there was a lot of pressure on us, and realizing that I'm going to be 33 this year, and I just figured out what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. So the point is, and I'm not saying that I'm old, I'm not saying that I'm young, but it's never too late to start. If you have an idea, run with it, give it a shot. If you need to make connections with the appropriate people that are in that atmosphere, that career field, what have you, that industry, make those connections. The worst that can happen is someone tells you no. There's going to be more doors that shut in your face
Mhm.
and that tell you no
Oh yeah.
before you make it to that one yes. You just have to keep trying.
Correct.
Don't let it discourage you, because again, that's a part of the failure or the part of getting denied
Mhm.
process on the way. You're going to fail more times than you will win.
Yeah. Edison with the light bulb.
Exactly.
Can you elaborate as to how you kind of went through what you went through when you stopped the previous business and what kind of got you through it?
Okay, so
You want to elaborate on that business as well?
okay, are we talking aesthetics? So my first, sorry, I know there's been a handful of ventures, and some that just never completely flourished.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you could say this first business that I worked on starting was becoming an esthetician, which I did. I became one. I got licensed in the state of California. I was in practice for a short period of time. When I graduated, got my license, that was right in the middle of COVID. I got my license October of 2020. And let me tell you, starting a business where you're in the field of being in people's faces, it was not the easiest.
Yeah.
I had to,
Funny.
yeah, exactly, right? And we, like, as estheticians, we're wearing masks to begin with, so that way, because you're in close quarters with someone's face as you're giving them a facial, doing lashes, waxing, what have you. We had to mask up anyways, but I had done it a little bit from home. And then I had also gotten into a salon where I rented a space for a little bit. And it was really hard to build my clientele. I also recognized and was embarrassed, and not so embarrassed about not working hard enough to get the clientele. It was realizing that it wasn't my true passion. Like, I enjoyed giving facials and working in the beauty and aesthetics industry, but I wasn't in love with it. It didn't light my soul on fire. It didn't make me cry. I feel like, yeah, it wasn't, I think in this personal growth and mindset coaching that I, gotten into is like what I've learned and what I'm able to teach others that need my help. I know need my help. It didn't make me emotional like that this department does.
Yeah.
And so I stopped doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't give up. I just stopped doing it because it wasn't for me. Fast forward, I became a mom, got pregnant with our first child, Jackson. And I think at the time I was still doing my aesthetics only for a short period of time. And then that's when I stopped. And then I think I was kind of at a standstill. And then I ventured off into starting my own coaching program, but in health and fitness, because I have a strong passion for health and fitness.
Mm-hmm.
I love to work out. I love to eat healthy. I like to share healthy recipes, because there's some people out there that are like, well, what the heck do I cook? And I'm like, dude, it's so simple. Like, you don't have to have this wild, detailed recipe to make up some fancy ass dinner. You can, if you want to. If you want to spice it up once in a while, you can. But babe, you're a pretty simple man. Like, if I feed you, you're happy,
pretty much,
and you don't care what it is, like, unless it's like specific things that you really don't like.
I feel like a typical guy.
Yeah.
Give us food and we're happy.
Yeah, exactly. The way to a man's heart is through his stomach. So cooking. Yeah. So like cooking simple things like, just grilled chicken and brown rice and steamed broccoli. Like, you're happy and I'm happy, and it's easy, it's healthy, it's wholesome. And I know that what I'm putting into our bodies is good for us and is going to energize us and fuel us to continue to do our day-to-day and then some.
How about that half cow we got?
Oh my gosh, game changer. Guys, if you had not bought a half a cow before, I highly, highly recommend. The quality of the meat, and browse around, do some research, check out some ranchers. But the quality, the quality is absolutely insane. Like, I will never, I repeat, I will never buy meat from the grocery store ever again.
Unless we need it like last second and we
Yeah.
don't have it. But now we have that deep freezer. We got the half cow, grass fed, grass finished, regenerative farming. Like the meat is just night and day different. We put the porterhouses on the Traeger last night. Woo!
Yeah, those were good. And I'm normally not like a big fan of cooking on the Traeger just because I don't love the smokiness. It's good for some things. Like I love cooking ribs on there. That's the one thing I actually do really, really like. Excuse me, is cooking the ribs on the Traeger.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, off of that health the health and fitness.
Yeah.
You notice me, I like to go off of tangents, but I feel like it's all relative. I just
Makes sense. It works.
makes sense. It works. So kind of got started with that,
Mhm.
and we had back end stuff being worked on, but I was like struggling to put effort into making videos to help teach people, and I never really enjoyed, let alone felt comfortable getting behind a camera. But here we are.
Hey,
doing
we're here.
we're here, we're doing it, and I kind of just told myself, hey, sack up, put your big girl boots on, and just do the damn thing, because who fucking cares?
Yeah, pretty much.
Who cares?
Exactly it.
Yeah, so the health and fitness, I moved past that, and then because that touched on what I'm passionate about, but it wasn't the driving force that's gotten me where I am right now. We touch on it a little bit, obviously, because when we talk about it in the vitality department of our coaching, but it's not like our sole focus.
No, but we'll talk about it
Yeah.
because diabetes is so rampant in our families that we want people healthy. Like I get blood work every single year. I get the urine test for diabetes every single year just to make sure that I'm going strong. But tap into then with Lainey, and I think that's probably where you really transitioned away from the health side of things.
Yes. Okay.
I mean, we're still going to touch on it.
Oh.
We want everyone to be healthy, but I think this is where we moved into the next phase.
Yeah. So, once I had Lainey, that's when postpartum depression, stress, rage, if you will, it all set in. I didn't really get it with Jackson. I had probably like some of the sadness, but I think it was mostly like when you went back to work and I had to do it myself. But it's funny now because now I do it myself with both of them. So nothing's really changed in that department. I solo parent more often than not, but that's because you're working your tail off to be able to take care of us. And I can't thank you enough. That makes me emotional inside. And I'm going to stop. I'll stop before I get ahead of myself. But you working as hard as you are to allow me to take care of our kids and raise them myself and not have to rely on a babysitter or, sending them to daycare, and that I get to do what I love from home makes it like all that much more rewarding and makes me so happy. I never imagined, like, I always knew I wanted a family. I knew I wanted to get married, and I knew I wanted to have kids. But I never imagined being a stay-at-home mom. I was like, no, there's no way. I won't ever be a stay-at-home mom. I'm not ever going to be the person that runs a business. I never thought I would run a freaking business. I would never.
Here we are.
And here we are. Like, no, I never imagined starting a business. I was just like, no, that's not for me. Like, I'm not businessy. And then, learning stuff from you, just when you started your stuff with real estate and you told me about other ventures that you had prior to that, I kind of like tapped into that. But, back to like when talking about when I had Lainey, how my postpartum depression and all that stuff had set in with me is when I realized I had a much longer and drawn out journey to help myself first, so that way I could help the woman I was yesterday and the day before that, and other women that have been in the position that I was or are in the position that I was. Then I know that I'm able to help them, even if it's with the smallest things, like, hey, Mom, you're stressed out. You feel like you're going to rage right now. Leave the room. Go put your salt. If you have a separate room away from your children, walk away, sit in the room, close the door, close your eyes, give yourself a hug, and take a deep breath.
That's a good one right there. Yeah.
Like the amount of times that I still do that. I still do that because it's still something that I'm working on. Like, we're not perfect.
Toddlers aren't easy.
Oh,
A 3-year-old toddler is not easy.
they're like little terrorists.
Yeah.
I love
100%
like, and I mean that in the nicest. I mean that in the nicest way, because you know what? They're toddlers. They're kids. They're doing the best that they can at that moment because they're still developing.
Oh yeah.
And that's something I still have to remind myself every day. Like when Jackson starts pulling his crap and throws like the biggest tantrum over anything under the dang sun.
The car falling on the ground.
Oh, yeah. When he sits at the kitchen table and he drops his car that he's playing with, I'm like, well, buddy, why'd you put it on the edge? It's gonna fall. He gets upset and then he wants me to pick it up, but he doesn't know any better. And so we're kind of just trying to teach him, like, but it's okay. It's not broken. And if it's broken, we can fix it. Like, you know, A, B, C, and D. So
I've got to tell Brie also sometimes that what she doesn't realize is us guys, our brains aren't fully functional until we're like 25. So you got to think that he's only 3. So we still got like 22 more years of the brain not even being functional yet. So you girls, you guys grow a little bit quicker than us.
I fully believe that that God designed us exactly the way we were supposed to be designed, men and women.
Without a doubt.
Like there's a reason women were built the way that we are.
Oh, you guys are strong.
There's a reason why men were built the way that they are, but we're meant to coexist.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Because we're stronger and better together.
Without a doubt.
Like
1 + 1 does not equal 2. It's more of like 1 + 1 equals infinity on what can happen, what we can do.
Because the possibilities are endless.
Oh, yeah. And then you tap on the community on top of that, and then it's rocket ships for sure.
Definitely. No,
Yeah.
I agree with that. So it got me into the mindset and how to improve the way that I thought. So because your thoughts become your words and your words become your actions. That's something I learned from the one and only Sharon Lechter.
Oh, amazing.
Oh my gosh. I'm just amazed that we get to have someone as special as her in our circle.
She's amazing, for sure.
Like, I can't.
Hands down.
I'm at a loss for words. She's just a great lady.
We had an amazing time at her ranch. Good time.
Back in October.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for the next one.
A couple of months away.
Yeah, only a couple of months away. We're excited.
Yes.
But yeah, so like I said, your thoughts become your words become your actions, and that really kind of lined it up for me, and to teach myself to think positively about myself. And even when you are struggling in moments with your kids, or even if it's just with yourself, like, oh my gosh, I can't get myself to be motivated enough to do this, and this. You have to talk positively to yourself. If you start thinking and talking negatively to yourself, your body is not going to know the difference.
That's so true.
I don't remember where we read this from.
One of the million books that we read now.
Exactly. One of the million books that we've read.
Thank you, Dr. Greg Kimball, for that.
Yeah, right. I don't think I've read and or listened to so many books in my whole life. Like, you would have thought you did.
Read books. I was that kid who was smart, and I can get by reading the first page of the chapter, the last page of the chapter, and then I would have an idea as to what happened in that chapter, so I can go to class the next day and be like, yeah, I read that chapter. Or SparkNotes. That was whoever invented SparkNotes. Thank you.
Yeah, no, not me. I had to work harder than that.
No, you can't. So now we've got, like, you can see a little bit here, but we've got a ton of books, and then luckily the best thing too is Audible. Whew. Hands down to them, because now I could just listen to it and I don't even have to read.
Right.
But it's like I'm reading. Maybe it's cheating a little bit, but
I like them both. I think Audible's great. So like when you're doing mindless things that need to get done around your house, like if you're doing laundry or you're doing the dishes, turning the Audible on is great. If you're trying to manage your kids and listen to Audible, not going to work, because you're not going to absorb and really take in the information that you're listening to on the Audible. A
little bit easier than reading a book while trying to deal with them.
Yes, it is. I will say that. it's just, you have to learn to be able to tune some stuff out, when you can, and be able to still like listen at the same time. So you're still getting to take it in, but you're not taking it in fully. It's one of those where I think you listen to it once and you're having to half tune out the other nonsense noise in the background while you're listening, and then go back and listen to it again. I'm listening to The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest for the third time.
Well, it's a great book too.
Absolutely, it's a great book. I mean, you just saw me crying in the kitchen. You're like, what's wrong? I'm like, I'm listening to another book.
It gets me. That's your bear. We'll talk about animal profiles another time, but that's your bear right there. That's your emotional side.
Yeah.
That's Mama Bear.
Yeah. So,
by the way, if you haven't read that book, listen to that book. Highly recommend it. It's amazing.
33 out of 10 recommend.
Yeah. Some people will understand that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess just straightening up my mindset and taking that by the horns first, realizing that once I kind of got all of that in line, again, it's not going to be perfect, but it's a hell of a lot more progress than I've made. And who knows how long. And of course, like, it's hard for you to see your own progress, but when other people on the outside can see your progress, like the amount of times that you've seen how much I've changed over
it's exponential. It really is.
Yeah. Well, I'm losing my train of thought now, but
basically what I love about it is that you start to pick on certain things that you're doing, and then you change it right away, or you just be like, I totally would have done A, B, and C. Now I know not to do A, B, and C, and I'm doing this. And then I really see, again, this is your bear profile. It's the passion that you have.
Yeah.
So, and you now have the passion to help others because you see what you went through and how you overcame it. And then the best part is you always say that I'm still not there yet.
Yeah.
And that's where we want everybody to be. Like, we're not going to, like, you don't ever want to be there.
Yeah.
You think you're there, now you're complacent. Now that's where things start falling apart. That's where people start passing you up. And so you're always growing, but now instead of you just growing by yourself, you're now helping others grow with you. And that's where the passion's coming from. That's where the lighting the fire is going. And you are a whole new person because you tack on that part of it. Like, you were already doing better by yourself and what you've learned, but you bringing out people with you has made you even better as a person because it's that enjoyment, it's that love, it's that passion that you have with it.
Yeah, exactly. It comes from a place of love. It comes from a place of passion and wanting to be able to let others know that they're not alone.
No.
And that's like the biggest thing that I think I felt for a long time. Like, no, I'm not alone. I have you. And I have others that love and care about me, but it's completely different. It's on a whole other level. I think once we got into the community that we're a part of, the Final Percent, Greg Kimball, Kayla Kimball, all of those folks, I'm like, I can't say enough how amazing that group of people are, and how happy it makes me to be a part of something so great. And the fact that putting personal growth in the hands of as many people as we can possible.
Everybody,
literally everybody.
Let's make it happen.
It's
like Matt says, gas, gas, gas. Let's go.
Exactly. No, that's when I really realized that I was not alone.
Mm-hmm.
That I really, like, what I was going through, somebody else in the community has gone through it, or is still going through it, or is in the same spot as I am. Like,
or they may go through it.
Or they may go through, or they may go through it later down the road. But the great thing is that, everybody, we're not all going to be on the same wavelength. We're all going to be on different patterns, different positions of our journey, but we're all there to support each other. And that's like the greatest thing. I just feeling that we're so supported in all areas, because we're all a driving force, no matter what our goals or our futures look like. Everybody in our community has different goals, has different passions, and we're all going in different directions, but we're all going in the upward direction.
Correct. Exactly.
That, and I think, again, community is your jet power.
It really is. It really is. I mean, everybody's heard the saying, "You're only as strong as the 5 closest people to you," and I've always said it and always expressed it, but I never really understood it until now, until you realize it. And like, being around the right people is what's going to drive you forward. That's why we built our community as well. We built our community to bring people on to help them with whatever they're struggling with. If they're struggling with postpartum, if they're struggling to even have a child, if they have a miscarriage, like, we've gone through like all of it.
Yep.
And then on the man side, like, I'll be honest, when the miscarriage part happened, I didn't know what to do. And then the postpartum, I didn't know what to do. What am I supposed to do? I'm like, what do I do with my hands, type of thing. So like, now us being able to teach and express, like, hey, this is what you need to do. This is how you need to do it. One of the biggest things that a lot of people, I think, don't know, or they think they know, is the other person's love language. If you don't know the other person's love language, or even your own, it makes it really hard in times like that.
Yeah.
Because you're like, let's say you think that their love language is gifts, which is not yours. And you just start throwing out gifts and just flowers and flowers and flowers. And you're going to get to a point where you're like, stop. I don't.
Well, I'll stop you right there for just a second. Flowers, I will never say no to flowers.
No.
Yeah.
But what I meant by is like the gifts part. Like, if I keep
no.
shoving it in your face. Like,
well, I'm simplistic. I'm very simplistic. It's the little things that mean a lot to me. Like when you write me sweet little notes,
yes,
and you leave them like by the coffee pot, or you leave it on the refrigerator where I can see it and I don't expect it. That's like super exciting to me.
Words of affirmation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, when you know that for that person, it's easier to be there for them. Because unfortunately, like, there's just so much we can do during those stages. It is on you, but we've got to be there for that emotional side. So it's like learning these tools that we can now pass on to our community, the other communities we're part of, and then just teach people to have those tools and those tactics to get through whatever they're getting through.
Yeah. Well, so like, because when you're working in the personal department, you're learning more about yourself. Mm-hmm. And to me, I mean, hands down, and I know you'll agree with me on this. We are stronger now than we ever have been in our relationship.
No doubt.
It's 2016 is when we started dating, and then we got married in 2020.
During
COVID, we eloped, and then 2 years later we had the wedding.
Thank you, Mr. Preciado, for that.
Yeah, but because we did so much work on ourselves, we were able to really improve our relationship. And like, I think for all the parents out there, you know what it's like. Now, after you have kids, your relationship almost takes a back seat, and that's normal. That part happens because you're focusing on this new bundle of joy that you just brought home and worried about taking care of it, keeping it alive. Or 2 or 3 or 4. However, there's some families out there that have a ton of kids, and hey, good for you guys. Hey, for us, 2, I don't know, maybe 3, we don't know. But that happens.
Yeah.
But when you go and you make the efforts to, whether it's a date night, or even you just go and have like a coffee date, or go out for a cocktail and appetize it, a coffee date. Yeah, for coffee dates. Even if it's just sitting in the office and doing like business stuff together, which is a lot of what we've been doing lately, because we're just like crunched for time, and we are trying to manipulate our schedules the best to our ability, because we're limited on time, and what we put our time and energy into makes a difference on us driving forward.
Yes.
So, but again, when we've done work on ourselves, we've been able to improve our relationship. And yes, as the kids have gotten a little bit older and we got comfortable transition to 2 kids, mm-hmm. we've been able to give each other more attention. And now we make more mindful efforts to booking our date night.
Yes.
And planning to have you and me time.
Mm-hmm. It's just for 10 minutes at night. That's the one thing we've also been doing.
Yes.
Get rid of the social media, get rid of the phone. So yes, if some people are hitting us up at night and we're not responding, that's why. But we're putting that effort and time into each other, even if it's only 5 minutes, 10 minutes, if we're stretching on the floor together, if we're doing a quick workout together, but we're doing it together, and we're just, like you said, I love how you said it, is we're manipulating the time. It's what you got to do when you're a parent, you're an entrepreneur, and you've got kids. Parent, kids, same thing.
Yeah.
You've got all that. You have to manipulate time. That's just what it is. Because what's one thing that we'll never get back?
Time.
So we have to manipulate in the way that's going to work best for us. And it's, again, it's a work in progress. Like you said, it's never going to be perfect, but working on ourselves has definitely helped that relationship part of it too.
Yeah. And what I want to bring up is, how I'm talking about that we're doing work on ourselves, and a lead into self-care. A lot of people out there think that it's selfish. It's not.
Nope.
It's more selfless than anything. If you can prioritize taking care of yourself and your well-being, you're able to be your best version of yourself for you and for all of those around you. So like for moms need to make sure that they prioritize some time for themselves. Even if you just get an hour to be away from your kids at a time, that's still something. And you can work up to, other options later, but you need to still have some of that time to yourself, whether that to go get your nails done, to get a workout in, just to go sit somewhere in silence and not do a damn thing.
Well, you're going to the coffee shop.
Yeah.
How's that been?
Good. Yeah. I went and I sat in Mechanic Coffee. That's a local coffee shop out here. Super good. And I love the vibe. And all of their employees, they got a bunch of like young teenage kids. And they are all super freaking friendly. They're all hardworking individuals. And I just love the vibe. Every time I go in there, they got good music playing. Everyone's super friendly. The drinks are good. The food's good. And they have like a comfortable space where you can sit down, do some work, or sit and do nothing and just people watch if you wanted to. But like I sat in there, I think for like maybe 2 hours the other day.
How refreshed were you after that?
Refreshed.
And you were still doing business. You're still doing work.
Yeah, I was still doing work. I was listening to whatever music they were playing. I really held back from getting up and dancing because it was bringing me back to high school / college days.
Back to your heydays?
Back to hey, I am like we talked about this. Yeah. We are heyday, okay?
I agree.
30s and thriving, okay? 30s and thriving, okay? I don't want to hear it. 33. This is
40 now, but it's still there.
33 this year. This is my year.
I like it.
I'm claiming.
Great number.
I'm claiming
great number.
It. So, yeah, but no, self-care is not selfish because you got to be able to prioritize yourself and take care of yourself. Because if you're not doing that, you're going to be frustrated with everything under the sun. You're going to take things out on people when you really normally wouldn't or don't want to, and freak out over like the littlest things and let everything get under your skin. And I'll like reference from Mel Robbins' book, Let Them. We just read that.
Yep.
Amazing. Again, another book I recommend. Now it's allowed me to put that philosophy into practice. When something is annoying me that's out of my control, let them. And then I remind myself to finish with the second part of that, which is let me. So, and Mel Robbins talks about it in her book, how people do the whole first part of it where it's let them, but they forget about the let me.
Yep.
There's 2 parts to it, so you have to do both. I won't get into it, but I need you to listen to the book.
Maybe we'll do a podcast on it later.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do one on a bunch of the books that we've read and do a quick synopsis of certain tools that we've learned from that we do pass on to other people, clients, and people that are just asking.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for. We're here to just provide you guys as much information as possible and get you guys moving in the right direction. So if you have any questions that you guys or any topics you want us to talk about, definitely leave them in the comments or DM them on our Instagram. And we'd love to go over them with you guys. But this is going to be awesome. Do you have any final things to say for this?
Well, I can keep talking.
I know.
You're going to have to cut me off. But
I know why I'm cutting you off.
That's fine. You got to do what you got to do. What he said. I'm really excited to get to be on here to share our knowledge, our experiences, And hopefully that'll influence others to take the first step in changing your own life because you're capable.
Thanks again, and we'll see you guys on the next podcast.